Hello, Alan.
Hey, Myf. Now, can I just first, what's
Yeah.
the plate behind you?
Oh, okay, I'll get it for you.
Because it hasn't been there before, has it?
No, it's always there. I think I've just pushed my camera back a bit further.
Okay. What is it?
I bought this in London at a market, and it's got a fox on it and the shard. You know the building, the shard
Yep.
is on it as high as a fox, right? And the reason why I got it is because it was a great story about when they were building the shard. Because foxes have become very much part of the urban environment, there was a fox on the 78th floor or whatever it was that was living up there while they were constructing the shard. And it was living off, food from the builders and the construction folk. And it became quite legendary, so much so that someone made a plate about it, as high as a fox.
And what happened to the fox?
I'd say it got shunted out at the end of its tenure when the super wealthy moved in with their gazillion-dollar apartments up the top. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's still up there, given all those apartments are empty, as far as I know, because no one can afford them.
I just love that story.
Yeah. I used to love that when I lived in England. I flew my cats over to be with me in England, because I thought I was going to stay for a very long time. And anyway, they flew over and they were in my house, one of the houses I was in, and in the backyard we had a fox that would visit every day. And then one morning woke up, looked out the backyard, and I thought that the fox and the cat would be enemies, natural enemies, but looked out in the backyard and there's Terry, one of my cats, on the lawn, and the fox also on the lawn together, basking in the sun. And Terry kind of looked up and just went, and then just went back to sleep. It was the best. It was gorgeous.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen a couple of foxes because we live in a sort of big park area.
Yes.
And I've seen a few. Oh, my goodness.
Look at that fox.
Vivian's about 10 times the size than when I first saw her.
She's huge. She is absolutely huge. I'm a bit scared. I don't know what's in her, but it's whatever it is, it's huge. Off you go, Foxy.
How are the cats dealing with the fact that she's just getting bigger and bigger?
Mate, it's going to take a long time. There's a lot of hissing still. I think I've got a year of hissing in front of me. But yeah, tell me about your engagement with a fox.
Oh, no, I've just seen a couple and I'd never seen a fox before.
Yeah.
And I was just going for a walk early one morning, or, it might have been 5 years ago, so I was going for a run, before my knees fell off. And I saw this fox. And it was one of those things where I went, oh, a fox. I'd never seen a fox before. Like, I'd seen them in Beatrix Potter books.
Yep.
And they're always up to no good with chicken necks or whatever foxes are into, or living in high-rise buildings.
Yep.
But Beatrix Potter wasn't so much, stories about high-rise buildings. And I just remember thinking, what a beautiful, beautiful animal.
Oh, they are beautiful.
And the next thing it was like a bit of liquid copper just flying by. And then it was gone.
With its big fluffy tail.
Yeah.
They are beautiful creatures, although they're considered to be pests here in Australia. So, people don't like them here. But in London, they were everywhere, and they were very used to human beings and very urbanised. In fact, they were probably, you would call them inner city hipsters in any other environment, I reckon.
Well, yeah, because of their reddish beards. I mean, we all know from seeing inner city hipsters with their big red Ned Kelly beards. I don't know why I'm fascinated by people with dark hair who end up with red beards.
How does that happen?
I don't know. And also, I don't understand why, if you're not really that grey in your hair, you grow a beard and it gets grey. I'm imagining it's because it grey hairs have less moisture in them.
Yeah. Oh, is that right?
I believe that is the case. I believe.
We literally, as we get older and we get grey hair, we literally dry up. We're drying up. Our hair's drying up.
Myf, you and I both know that we're drying up. No offence.
She wants to get up.
Oh, God.
She's got her toy, Lammy.
Poor Lammy.
Oh, no, Lammy's had the guts taken out of her.
No wonder Lammy's got her eyes closed. You wouldn't want your eyes open with Vivian at the... It looks like she's just gone straight for the guts.
Yeah, she's eaten the guts out of it very, very quickly. Now she's carrying around a bag with a lamb's head.
So she's got... Oh, God, imagine just the idea of a dog carrying a bag with a lamb's head. It looks like... Vivian looks like she's got Dalmatian in her. And this is coming from a person who knows nothing about anything to do with dogs.
Don't scare me, Alan. Don't scare me. Because if she has, I'm absolutely stuffed. Because I won't be able to hold her back.
Now, to the best of my knowledge, do you know why Dalmatians... You know, when... I used to read Richard Scarry books when I was young.
Yeah, I loved Richard Scarry.
And various books I would read like that, the fire brigade always had a Dalmatian.
That's right. Why?
Well, according to what I read about it, the first ever official fire station was in the province of Dalmatia, which was in what became Yugoslavia.
Right.
Probably some people are going, oh my God, get it, Atlas. An old Atlas. But so it was like on the border of like maybe Czechoslovakia and Dalmatia or something like that. And they had Dalmatian dogs because Dalmatia, right?
Yeah.
And that's supposedly how it happened.
So that's why.
That's my intelligence on it.
I love it. Your intel.
That's my intel on why Dalmatians are fire.
I wasn't sure if it was because they were particularly good in working with heat, maybe, or repelling heat, but just because that's where they were in the first one.
Llamas supposedly are fireproof.
What?
Well, because the wool on a llama is so naturally thick and oily that it won't catch on fire. Well, it's wool. It's like a wool blanket. You can't set a wool blanket on fire.
So if there were llamas in a paddock, instead of like taking them away if there was a fire, you just hose them down.
Look, to be safe, I'd evacuate them.
Yeah.
For instance, if you had a llama at your birthday party and the cake caught on fire, and the llama was next to the cake, the llama would be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it would be singed, but it wouldn't catch on fire.
Wouldn't catch on fire. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's...
creatures. Have you spent much time with llamas?
I only once. There are these things in New Zealand, and I'm sure that there are similar things in rural Australia called field days, where farmers and hangers-on like myself go, and it's a chance for farmers to catch up, and they look at new technologies, and they look at new breeds of cattle, and they look at, for instance, the one that I went to, which was at a wonderfully named place outside Hamilton in Aotearoa, New Zealand, was called Mystery Creek.
Ooh.
Now, the reason it was called Mystery Creek is a mystery because there's no creek there.
Maybe there was one once.
Well, this is the thing, and where it went as a mystery, and some bloke went, yeah, we'll call it Mystery Creek, and everyone went, yeah, righto. So you'd go along and see new tractors, and you'd see this was the time when farmers were starting to diversify into deer. I mean, this is an amazing story, Myf. It's got a middle, and a middle. But people were starting to have llama farms. So there was this pen of llamas, and I don't know whether you've seen a llama up close, but they are really striking animals.
Gorgeous lashes.
Yeah, and I think it was the Aztecs or the Mayans or one of the people indigenous to South America used to call them the Silent Brothers.
Ooh.
Yeah. There's a Scandinavian crime thriller in that title.
There is, the Silent Brothers.
Yeah. It's snowy, there's lots of pines, there's a man and a woman detective, and then just grisly murders all over the place.
Judgmental llamas on the sidelines.
So I went up to the llamas because I was fascinated. I'd seen some wildebeest because someone had decided, water buffalo, sorry. Someone had decided that water buffalo might be a good thing to farm in New Zealand. And I went up to the llamas and they're really striking, but they spit.
They spit at you.
Yeah, and one of them spat in my face.
Oh, yeah, not.
And I don't know what you're like, Myf, but I make it a rule that if a living thing spits in my face, I hold it against it.
Forever. I think that's fine.
Pretty much forever.
It's pretty rude of the llama.
I think it's pretty rude. So we were in Tasmania over Christmas time, and on Christmas Day, my daughter met up with a girl called Hannah, whose mother ran a llama farm. So that evening, my daughter was in the hills on the northwest coast of Tasmania, feeding llamas and eating venison for the first time.
Oh my goodness.
What a rural...
That's a rural experience. Why is rural such a hard word to say? Rural.
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 What was that in? 30 Rock.
Rural Jura.
Rural Jura.
I still can't do it.
Rural is a great... Rural. It's like rural and regional Australia. You go, wait a minute, what in regional Australia? Rural and regional Australia. It's like when I started on the radio, I said the Northern Territory. Yeah. And someone rang in, an older lady, and I know they're the best. They're like the greatest. Like old ladies from the Northern Territory, Queensland and WA are just like the greatest callers.
Yeah, yeah.
And she rang in, she said, Alan, I know you're foreign. And I said, thanks. And she said, but it's territory. And I said, okay, so it's not territory. And she said, oh no, Alan, that won't wash up here.
Oh my God.
And I said, but it's spelt territory. And she said, don't you try and tell me my business, Alan.
She gave you some what for?
Oh, hell yeah. And so I learnt my lesson very quickly. So Northern Territory. And I met someone recently and I said, Northern Territory. And they went, well done, Alan. And I said, I got told off by an old lady. And they went, okay, well, good. You learnt your lesson.
Sounds fair. Territories, Northern Territory.
Hey, now, have you been out?
I went out for lunch with Mum and Dad last week, but I haven't been out anywhere since. I've been very, oh no, the dog's just discovered the poopy bags, the plastic bags, the whole roll.
They haven't got poop in them.
No. Hang on a sec.
Okay.
Vivian.
I just love this. Like the last 2 or 3 times that you've just had to disappear because of a dog emergency.
Yeah, got them back.
Not
sure I want to be picking up poo in them if there's holes from puppy teeth.
What an actual bag lady.
I know. She's a bag lady dog. Goodness me. Sorry about that. Continue. What were you saying?
I don't know. What was I saying? Oh, have you been out?
No, not really. I'm enjoying the bubble now. I'm deep in the bubble. haven't been doing anything. Have you gone out?
Went out on Friday night.
Oh my God, where'd you go?
We went to a pub to bingo because of how I'm a middle-aged English woman from the 1950s.
Yes.
And called Vera Duckworth, which is actually a character from Coronation Street, but that's not important. It was one sitting between 10 and 8, 4 tables of 6.
Yeah.
You could change seats, but you couldn't get up and talk to people.
Right.
And we had a wonderful time. And the two things about it were that 3 things. The staff were amazing. Now they've got a lot of things to enforce.
Yep.
And They were really, really great. Second thing is that there is a rule in Victoria that there is no vertical drinking.
What does that mean?
You can't stand up and drink.
No way. That's a rule.
Yeah, so at the moment, you can't go over to someone else's table, stand there, talk to them, and drink.
Can't do that.
So, of course, that started a long discussion about the times everyone at our table had horizontally drunk.
We've all been there.
Haven't we? Like you're lying down and you go, oh, just have another sip. And that thing of trying to go, well, if I go like that, that's ridiculous because I'll just get it all over my face. So I'll go like this into the side of the mouth. And it just goes all down your shirt.
All down your shirt.
But, you know, you've given it away anyway because you're lying on your friend's floor, a couch, a bathroom.
Usually, yeah.
Somewhere that you're not quite sure where it is. And you're going, just
it's comfortable though.
Get a bit more in. And it's like, if it's like a small glass or a bottle, that's easier. But often you're doing it with, say, a pint and going, oh, just get a bit in. And then and then, of course, you leave the horizontal drinking situation smelling like you've just taken a bath in whatever spirituous liquor is that
whatever you're drinking at a time of the night.
So luckily, well, no, unluckily, there's no vertical drinking because that's my preferred methodology now.
Yeah.
The other thing is that I met a new person.
What happened? Sorry, I'm getting my arm's getting ripped by a dog here. I have to give her a distraction.
Well, one of our friends who was on our table had brought with him a workmate who I had never met.
Oh my God.
And I thought,
you thought you knew everyone you needed to know.
I haven't met a new person for 3 months.
Oh, of course. How did that go? How were your conversational skills? Because we've talked about how we both feel about having conversations now and about how we might be perhaps a little bit inappropriate at times given we've lost our social skills. How'd you go?
Look, it went pretty well. I think the setting of a pub is always useful.
Yeah. Because
they can serve you talking juice.
Yes.
As I like to call it. So the new friend situation was thoroughly lubricated. No, that came out. That didn't sound right at all. Oh dear. All right, just a word to the wise. Please don't ever use the phrase "the new friend situation was thoroughly lubricated."
Thoroughly lubricated, no.
Like in any situation, even if it is thoroughly lubricated. In fact, particularly if it's thoroughly lubricated, because that's not information that anyone needs.
No.
How was your night? Thoroughly lubricated. Oh, get out. You know, someone was obviously going to go water-based or silicone, and that's the end of that discussion.
Or strawberry flavoured, strawberry or pineapple flavoured, who knows?
I don't know a lot about lubricants because I don't own a car.
Yeah.
For various other reasons. What's the point of flavoured lube?
I don't know. I think it's for people who want to spice things up, perhaps. I don't know. I don't understand. I'm with you. I have no idea. Like,
I get spicing things up. Like, well done.
Yeah.
But I just don't get how we're experienced people, Myf. We've been around. And I don't mean that I do mean it in that way. We've been around.
Yeah, we've been around.
Yeah, we've been around and it was great. I was totally into it and I was really surprised that I got to be around. Yeah. So it was like, it was all a bonus for me. But I can't remember a situation when you're going, yum, lube. It's pineapple flavoured.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I know. It's not. It's not necessary. None of that, I don't think. As edible undies are not necessary. Do you remember those? They went through quite a renaissance a couple of years ago. It's like, why do you need underpants that are made out of chocolate when you can just eat chocolate?
Like, all forms of genitals
Yep.
don't need chocolate on them.
No.
Like, not like under a skirt or pants. Like,
Yep.
later on, bust out the chocolate sauce, ice cream style, let it set, tap it with a spoon and it's on. But I don't...
The ice magic out. Hey, let go of my jumper. Look at this. She's really hanging on. Off. You hop off. She's going to bark at me now. Hop off.
That's hilarious. Does she sleep inside or outside?
Sleeps inside. Yeah, spoiled rotten.
Yeah. I'm glad we moved away from me just suggesting pouring ice magic
On your genitals.
on your genitals.
I bought some ice magic about a year ago. I got ice magic curious again because I remember it used to be amazing. You'd put it on your vanilla ice cream and it would go hard and it tasted delicious and you'd tap it. It was great, but I put it on and it tasted wrong. Like, it didn't taste like it used to taste. You know how they've taken out all the good ingredients in, say, all your favourite chocolates and chips, anything that was vaguely illegal or a little bit that they used to be able to get away with, they all mustn't be, they've taken them all out, so everything tastes not as it used to, including ice magic. I say the same about Twisties, but there was once something in there that made it taste amazing, and it's gone.
I wonder if it was youth.
Yeah, probably.
I wonder if the secret ingredient to all these things is youth. Because when you watch kids eat chips, you can almost see the youth, like their youthful mouths going, cheese and onion together? It's amazing. And we just go, yeah, cheese and onion.
Yeah.
And our older experienced brains go, well, I suppose, maybe...
Our dead, again, dried up, speaking of the theme dried up, our dried up taste buds.
Yeah, even pineapple lube doesn't taste like it used to. Oh, it's so, like, just pineapple is great in pineapples.
It's good on pizza too. I don't mind it. I will say I don't mind it on pizza.
I don't mind it either. I think I would be, actually, I'm quite Hawaiian curious as far as a pizza goes, but I think I would be upset if I was an actual Hawaiian person.
True.
Because that's what lots of people know about Hawaii.
Yeah, true. How did that come about? Is it just because pineapple is considered a tropical fruit that it got Hawaiian, or is it actually something Hawaiians are into?
You know what? I would really like to know that. Like, I've got a feeling it's probably not called Hawaiian pizza anywhere apart from... I know it's called it in New Zealand as well and Australia, but I wonder whether it might not even be a thing.
Yeah.
Like canned beetroot.
Oh, is that only Australian and New Zealand?
New Zealand's massively into it. But do you know, like, one of the things I find really interesting is how nations claim particular flavour combinations they claim that they encapsulate that nation. So, for instance, an Aussie burger has beetroot and an egg.
Yes.
Now, I didn't know a lot about Australia before I moved here. But the two things that never sprung to mind as being totally Australian were beetroot and eggs, because of how, to the best of my knowledge, they exist almost everywhere apart from Antarctica.
Yes.
Where they probably get it shipped in. So there are beetroot and eggs. So an Antarctic burger could be beetroot and egg.
Could be, but that's an Aussie burger. You're right. Why?
I don't know. Like,
what is that?
It's an odd idea that, like, but lots of nations have this thing where they go, the man who invented the Hawaiian pizza, so John, and we've never sort of said thank you to John Old, who set up Isolation TV. Yeah. Thank you, John. who allowed us to do this. Now, so John has shared a bit of screen, and can you see it, Myf?
I can. The man who invented Hawaiian pizza, setting off one of the biggest debates in food, died on Thursday at the age of 83. I'm not sure what date this article is from. His name is Sam Panopoulos. He was born in Greece and moved to Canada when he was 20. He decided to try out pineapple on a pizza in 1962 to attract customers to one of his Ontario-based restaurants. We just put it on just for fun, just for the fun of it. See how it was going to taste. Panopoulos told the BBC earlier this year, we were young in the business and we were doing lots of experiments. Okay, he liked the contrast between the sweetness and the savoury flavour of the ham. And he named it Hawaiian Pizza after the brand of canned pineapple used on the pie. Wow.
There we go.
That's it.
So it was the canned pineapple was called Hawaiian pineapple, and that's why. And it was invented by of course, it was invented by a Greek guy
in Canada
who lived in Canada, and that's probably why maybe Greek people emigrating from Canada to Australia.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been unheard of.
Probably brought it here.
Greek Canadians brought Hawaiian pizza to Australia.
I love that.
Now, look, if there are Greek Canadians out there who are going, we're not responsible for this, I'd like to apologise to you. This is off the top of my head, but we do have some pretty solid information that a Greek Canadian dude and his brothers put pineapple on pizza because, and I believe I'm quoting, we were young and experimenting.
Yes. People experiment in a variety of ways when they
exactly. Pineapple lube, magic mushrooms, pineapple on pizza. I would be interested to know now that we know the basis of Hawaiian pizza, pineapple lube, is it the same? Did it come about the same way?
It makes sense. A young person experimenting
with a Greek Canadian's pizza.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. You just imagine a situation, we probably have to wrap up, Myf. Yeah. Can you just imagine a situation where someone goes, you know what would make this situation so much better is using pineapple as a lubricant. Now, I don't know whether you'd use rings, chunks or crushed.
Well, they do say that pineapple does have an ongoing effect in the...
You just don't want to use a whole pineapple.
Yeah.
They are prickly.
Oh, yes. Oh, of course. Oh, well, it depends on what you're into, really, doesn't it?
Oh, Myf, there's definitely a website for that, isn't there?
Oh, there is. The many uses of pineapple.
Men who sit on pineapples.org.
On that note, my God.
Well, thanks to John Olb, thank you, A, for starting this whole thing and allowing Myf and I to just talk absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
And for me to see a person I love very dearly every week.
Yeah.
And also thank you, John, for explaining the mysterious mystery behind Hawaiian pizza.
I feel complete. Thank you, John. Thank you, Alan. It's beautiful.
See, now I think maybe next week might be the last one.
Last week, yeah. Well, we should do it together.
I think we will do it together. Do you mind if I come over to your house because of how, admittedly, you have a dog that eats your clothes while you're wearing them?
Yes.
That my daughter does a similar thing, and I think at least you can put the dog outside. Exactly. So I'll come over, and I've got to get my umbrella.
Oh, yes, and Helen's top.
Yes, which is where the first thing we ever talked about was my umbrella.
And it's still there behind the door, exactly.
And 3 months later, we now know the mystery of Hawaiian pizza.
I feel we have done our work. Our work here is done.
If this was an episode of a reality show, I'd say, and I'd been kicked out, I'd go, well, I've really enjoyed the journey. As opposed to, I really like Journey, which is a whole different
Oh,
1970s rock. You love Journey, don't you?
lying beside you, you're so something. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Oh, won't you come to me with open arms? I love Journey.
I just knew you would.
They are the worst, but I love them.
Yeah, look, you've got a long history of loving the worst.
I know.
I'll see you at your place next week.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Bye.